Right then, so my meatballs took about 15 minutes to make, and here they are. So you'll see some of them, it doesn't matter if the cheese, some of the cheese has oozed out a little bit, but that's absolutely fine. My sauce is ready, so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to take the saucepan, okay, and I'm just going to pop the juices and all of the meatballs into the sauce and just work everything together in the pan. So tasty these are. One of my absolute favourites. And then all you need to do, oh, cheese is all oozing. You can smell this. Right, so meatballs done. So all we need to do now is take our spaghetti, a plate here. So the spaghetti is going to go into the middle, fluff it up a little bit. Once you've drained it, it's a good idea to hit it with a little bit of oil. Oh, we've got anything going on that we don't need going on. Take that off. Right, so fluff up your spaghetti. Nice big portion into the middle of your plate, like so. Oops. Alright, like that. Then, what you need to do is load on a few meatballs. I'm going to go for 3 because I'm feeling greedy. Okay, and then scoop up some of that sauce, cover the meatballs in the sauce, like so. And then if you want to, you can grate a bit of cheese on that. I'm not going to tilt it too much, and there you have it. Stuffed, mozzarella stuffed spaghetti and meatballs. Give it a try. Let us know how you get on. Send us your pictures, videos would be great. You know, anything that you do. Next week is Good Friday, so we're not going to be here. We're going to have a week off because we all need a break. But the good news is, in the Easter holidays, we're going to have 2 cook-alongs each week. Well, there'll be 2 lots delivered and posted both on Friday. And we've got 2 local restaurants involved. First is Seasons, who are going to be doing a burger kit. And the second one is Dough and Oil, who are going to giving you a pizza kit. So you're going to be super spoiled the next couple of weeks. Until then, like, subscribe, tell your mates, the usual, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Right then, so meatballs are done on a tray. They're going into the oven, which you preset for 200 degrees. As I told you earlier, if you were listening, you've done that already. Okay, next bit then is going to make the sauce and the spaghetti, which is really, really easy. So we've already got the half of the garlic that we chopped earlier. So we're going to keep that to one side. I'm also going to take an onion to do our usual chopping. I lost my knife. Here it is. Okay, so take the top off the knife. Sorry, off the top off the onion even. It's been a long week. Slice the onion in half. Peel back the skin. Okay. And then we're just going to slice it. We want to dice it nice and thin because this is a sauce, right? So we're going to go along, all the way along the onion. Okay, like so. We do this nearly every week, so hopefully you guys are used to it now. And then across. Right? Nice and easy. And repeat, the other side of the onion. Obviously, if you've got a big onion, use 1. If you've got small onions, use 2. You know, it doesn't really matter. This is going to serve about 4 to 5 people, I would have thought. Depending how hungry you are. Those meatballs are quite meaty, quite big, so you only need 2 or 3 each. Okay, so there's the onions and the garlic. Right, so we're going to get a pan on here. I'm going to use the bigger one actually today. Get that on the heat. So you want a medium heat really for this. So not absolutely flying hot, but hot enough that we can start to reduce those onions a little bit. So pan on, heat in the pan, oil in the pan. So about a tablespoon of oil because we've got no other fat in there. Okay. We're going to go, first of all, we're going to go in with the onions. We're going to let them get going. As I say to you most weeks, if you just add in a little bit of salt at this stage, just like half a teaspoon, that's just going to help get some of the moisture out of the onions and get them to caramelise a little bit quicker. I'm going to just change the angles here again, so you don't need to see what I'm chopping anymore. Alright, so we're going to get the onions going. The time, boil a kettle, okay? And you can get your spaghetti ready. So that's nearly good. So get your pan on for that. I'm going to grab me a spoon. Oops. Wooden spoon, and just start working around the onions. This is a really, really simple pasta sauce. Okay, you can use it on anything. If you did the vegan pasta shells back in January with me, this is exactly the same sauce. Really, really simple, but knowing how to make a decent tomato sauce is going to get you through life, man. Because when you go to university and you need to eat cheaply, this just on some spaghetti will cost you under £1 to make. Yeah, forget the meatballs; they make it a bit more expensive. But just if you want to make just an easy tomatoey pasta, this is the one. All right. So onions are sweating down nicely. Once they become sort of translucent, so you can see through them, they're softening. We don't want to caramelise these; we're just softening them for this sauce. You can smell the onions sort of cooking. It's time to go in with the garlic. So the rest of that garlic can go in. All good. Okay. Now the kettle's boiled, so I'm going to go into another pan with about 1 litre of water. Get that on a nice high heat, get it up to a boil. So we're going to pop that on there, and up we go. Teaspoon of salt in there. Okay. Wait till your pan's boiling before you put your spaghetti in. Alright? So we've got those onions frying away real nicely now. It's time to stop them caramelising. What we're going to do is add in a tin of tomatoes. Hopefully you've got one you don't need to use a tin opener with, but I happen to have to open this with a tin opener. Okay, so, oops. Let's go, so get this. I don't actually know how to use a tin opener. Oh yeah, I do. Here we go. Right. So, can of tomatoes in there. Come on. It's cut all the way around, apart from in 2 spots. There we go, that's alright. So, into the pan goes a tin of tomatoes. Oops. Just open that up. In we go. Cool. And then we're also going to go in, just to make this a nice rich sauce, with a squeeze of tomato puree. So you probably want about, I don't know, a tablespoon of that in there. Okay. Now my water for my pasta is boiling, so we're going to turn our attention to that for a second, because this is not going to take long to bring together at all now. Those meatballs are probably going to take about 15 to 20 minutes in the oven. Once you slice them open, I mean it's beef, so you have to worry too much, but you slice it open and you can still see pink inside, maybe they need a little bit longer, but they won't take very long. Okay, so we're going to go in pasta. Okay, I'm going to do quite a bit of pasta. So a good pinch just goes into the pan. Now it will melt, it'll go in like that, so you'll see it's kind of sitting in the water like this. Okay, so you just every few minutes just have to poke it until it kind of all ends up in the water, and then it just cooks. Alright, so we'll keep that going. I tend to try and keep prodding it every now and then. Right, whilst that's going on, let's turn back to this. So now everything's in the pan, you can turn that down. So you just want it to be simmering. Okay, we're going to go with a stock cube. So crumble a stock cube in there. Okay. So just break that down. It's going to give it a little extra flavour. You can use beef stock, you can use vegetable stock, you can use any kind of stock cube really. I wouldn't use a fish stock cube, but like any other will be fine. Get that into there. Okay, we're going to go in for some pepper. I like mine quite peppery. And again, the same mixed herbs that we used before. They're going to help be your friend in making this tasty. Right, so that spaghetti is almost in the pan. Almost, almost, almost. Right, keep rolling your tomato sauce around. I'm going to go in with a pinch of salt. And also, the usual So whenever I'm using tinned tomatoes, I always add a little bit of sugar because the natural sugar in tomatoes is lost when they're tinned. So I'm going to put just over a teaspoon of sugar in there as well. Okay, and that just makes the dish really nice and rich. Okay, once that sauce has come together, like this, you can see, nice and sort of thick. You just keep it ticking, and if it gets too thick, all you need to do, grab yourself a ladle or a spoon, and just use some of the pasta water, okay, just like this, just a drop, and that will just keep that sauce from being too thick, because what you want it to do is to coat all of the meatballs when they're done, right? And that's it. So I'm just going to wait for the spaghetti to be done and the meatballs to be done. So spaghetti, a good way of testing spaghetti is just to, when you think it's nearly done, if you can get a bit out, cool it down, bite it, right? If you can still see a tiny white dot in the middle where it was dry, then it's a good time to take it off, because by the time it's steamed and I've got the sauce on it, it'll be perfect. It's what they call al dente in Italy, okay? That's what we want. Right, we'll join you back when this is done. Keep an eye on what you're doing. Right guys, welcome back to another cook along with us at Young Shrewsbury. I'm Adam Pennell, the youth worker, and today we're going to make some spaghetti and meatballs, one of my favourites. Not just any spaghetti and meatballs, the meatballs are stuffed with mozzarella, so they get like oozy, gooey cheese coming out of them. Really, really cool. Right, okay, so we're going to go straight on it. So, first things first, I'm going to take some mozzarella. We're going to make the meatballs, okay? So the mozzarella comes in ball like this. When you get it in a packet, you need to pierce the packet and pour out the liquid. You've heard of curds and whey, like Little Miss Muffet, the old nursery rhyme. Well, the whey is the water. Just pour that away and you're left with a block like this. What you need to do is just chop that up, so hopefully you can just about see on here, into 10 pieces. So I'm going to slice it in half, like that. And then, in fact, you could maybe do 20. Look at that, we'll do 10. So you're going to slice it into 5 pieces each size. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. Right, so you've got your pieces of mozzarella. Okay. You'll find that they're quite pliable. So you can actually kind of mould them roughly into a little ball. So get that done. Okay, and then next thing is to take your mince. So we've got 500 grams of beef mince here. Okay, just going to open that up like so. Make sure you take off the little bit of paper on the back, because that won't be very nice in a meatball. Get rid of the packaging. Okay, into a bowl. Okay, and into that we're going to add in just a couple of ingredients. So let me see if I've got any salt to hand. I'm going to run and grab some salt. Salt's the first thing. So we're going to go with some salt. Oh, that was pepper. So sorry, salt. So about a teaspoon of salt. Okay. I'm going to go for a teaspoon of pepper in there. Okay. I'm going to go for some mixed herbs. Okay, so maybe 2 teaspoons of mixed herbs, like so. All into this bowl. I'm just going to tilt my screen ever so slightly so you can see what's going on down here. I'll have to bend down. You won't be able to see me, but you can see what's going on. So we've got the salt, pepper, and the mixed herbs in there so far. Then we're going to add in some garlic. So I'm just going to chop some garlic here. So chopping garlic, put the cloves on the table, on the board, sorry. Side of the knife, pop it, then it will peel really easily. Okay, so that's 1, 2. Oh, by the way, set your oven, I've got to say, set your oven 200 degrees, okay? So my oven's on, get that on now, ready for when these meatballs are going to go in, alright? So pop that one, cool. So I'm going to chop that up, I'm going to save half of this for later, but for now, just going to slowly, you can chop it into little pieces, and then use your seesaw method to get it nice and small, like this. and you can kind of scrape it back together. You see my hands are going on top of the knife. It doesn't leave the board, there's none of this. Okay, knife stays on the board, backwards and forwards. Cool. Take your time. I'm probably going to do it quicker than you because I've been doing it for a long time. I'm going to take half of that garlic into the meatball mix. Okay, then we're going to go in with a single egg. One egg. Okay, and then finally around about 100 grams of breadcrumbs. Okay, and then that's just going to soak up all that egg, but the egg is going to help it to bind together. Okay, so now this is where it's going to get a little bit messy. You're going to get your hands in there, okay, and just work everything together. So you'll see just all the egg, all of the breadcrumbs, everything. Squeeze it. It's a good little stress buster, this. It's a weekend, relax a little bit. So just spend a little bit of time. Now you'll see underneath there's all those breadcrumbs still, so I haven't mixed it enough yet. So just going to keep working it. Okay, the breadcrumbs are going to make it a little bit lighter, so it doesn't matter. When we make burgers, I always tell you not to squeeze the mince too much to keep some texture, but with this, you can kind of get it into a paste. Yeah? All right. So, we are very nearly there now. Now, if you've decided to do 10 meatballs, you need to cut this into roughly 10 pieces. Okay, so what we're going to do is pop it on a board. Okay, make a bit of a sausage. I'm going to do it sideways so you can see what's going on. Bit of a sausage. And literally, you mark it out. So halfway down, first of all, slice it. So you know that you've got to get 5 out of that one and 5 out of that one. Makes it a bit easier. But just, I mean, you don't have to be massively on the same, but roughly slice it into 5 pieces. 2, 3, and then the last one will do 2 on its own. So that's 5, and then we do another 5 here. So 1, as you'll see, it's a bit of a mess, but it's not a problem. 3, and then 4, 5. All right, cool. So next thing we're going to do, take some of your mince like this, and we're going to flatten it out in your hand, almost into like a little burger, okay, like that. Then I'm going to take a piece of the mozzarella that you've moulded into a ball. Okay, and I'm just going to wrap it all around the meat, all around the cheese until it's completely inside. And then pack it round in your hand. Okay, and there we have a mozzarella stuffed meatball. All right, so that goes into a tray and repeat. So just going to do that same again, I'll show you again. So take another slice, pat it out, like so. Okay, squeeze, so if you've got little slices of mozzarella, just squeeze the mozzarella in your hand, okay, like so. And then that goes into the middle. Fold it around. This is a bit tricky. Take your time on this. Okay? I'm going to stop the video after this, so you'll have some time. Maybe pause the video, get your meatballs done. So I've shown you 2, get them all on a tray, and I'll show you the next stage. That is what we're looking for.